So, call to order, everybody. So we're gonna go around the table and just say our names. For the record, I'll start, and then we'll go to my right. So Dick Vandenberg,
Lynn Mazzulli.
Howard D'Amico.
Carol Gogolinsky.
Sandy Kuipers.
and Gene Lovett is here, and Ryan is here, but not sworn in yet. So,
I'm not sworn in yet. I'll be joining you guys in the fall, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So Ryan, when were you on the FinCom before? What were those years?
So I've been off for 2 years, I want to say. Is that right? That
At
was-
least, I'll
yeah,
bet
yeah,
longer.
maybe two
Yeah.
or maybe I've been off for 2 or
It's-
3. I was on for 6. The last 2 as chairman, I want to say. Good luck to you, Dick. I know what a pain it can be.
But I think it's great, Ryan.
Yes, my daughter, my wife is not traveling as much. My daughter's a little bit older. She was only 7 or 8. And one night she asked me, "Daddy, do you have another meeting to go to?" And that was when I decided I should stop for a
Yeah,
while.
don't do
So,
it. Yeah.
but now she's
Right.
coming up on 12 and not quite as interested.
Right, right.
Up around,
Yeah,
much more
don't you have
interested
another
in being
meeting
on
to go
social
to?
media with a friend.
You
so
do
I-
know you're recorded.
Right,
Right,
saying
yeah,
this.
sure. Yeah,
She would,
yeah.
she'd admit it.
It works.
Well, glad to have you on board, and now we have our 9.
Excellent.
So that's great. So,
Do we expect to keep the rest of the board for this fall? The other the 3 members?
I think so.
Their term isn't coming up, is it? So they're probably still gonna be with us.
Ryan, are you talking about Mike, Phil, and
So we've got Mike.
Heather?
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike, Phil, and Heather.
yeah.
I don't expect any changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't
All
think so.
Good.
Okay, we have some reserve fund transfers. And Gene is gonna explain those to us. So the first one is $325, recreational repair maintenance, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, actually, Ryan's here to explain that.
Ryan, you
one
wanna
if
explain it?
Sure. I'm also the rec commission chairman. So I don't know how many of you know the new condos going up on North Village on North Street. That was kind of approved through the state, and part of the deal was that is they had to provide some recreation facilities for. So there's a playground right in front. It's a little, I'm not sure if you don't drive by it, you're
Yeah.
never going to see it. And it is open to the public. We have a sign there that says public welcome and that sort of thing. Sometime I believe in March, a tree fell on the fence on the right side. So we have typically our recreation commission budget is $3,000. $2,400 is kind of expected to be used on the lights at Soldier Field, and we have another $600 for maintenance and repairs. So the fence total is $925. So we kind of had a consensus at the last meeting. The board, rec commission would use our $600 to fix it. We have a meeting on Monday to confirm that. John has already been in touch with the fence company to try to get it done for the 30th, so we just need an extra $325 to get that taken care of.
Okay, any questions, anybody?
No, I saw the tree was big.
Okay, so let's have a motion then to approve that transfer of $325
So moved.
as described. Okay,
Mhm.
Sandy makes the motion, seconded
I'll
by
second it.
Carol. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstain. Motion carries. So what I'm gonna do, everybody, is I'll sign my name, and then when we're done with all of them, I'll just pass them around.
And there's 3 per transfer.
Sure.
So
What's that, Jim?
there's 3 per transfer. So there's three of the
Originals.
recreation.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do all this. 5 of us. Maybe it'd be simpler if I just passed them around each time, then we wouldn't get all confused. Yeah, why don't we do that, so just sign anywhere on the bottom of the page, okay?
Recording in progress.
Sorry, that was.
Okay. All right, so while this is going around, Gene, the next one is 1,000 to be transferred from part-time wages,
That
et
is
cetera,
going,
et cetera.
yes. As you recall, that there was a special election in September for the tie race for the Board of Selectmen, and that was an unforeseen election, and it was not part of the town clerk's budget. So the $1,000 would be used to support those wages.
Okay, any questions, anybody?
No.
Okay, is that unusual for that
Well,
to happen?
it's unusual for a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
That was.
So typically, we budget based upon the number of elections that are scheduled in the fiscal year, but because it was a tie, that was unforeseen. That was a low voter turnout, and that's what happens when you have a low voter turnout.
Hey, who won in the end?
That was the
David.
young kid there, I forgot his name, Mark.
Oh, Mike, but David won re-election.
David was the one for the tie. It was David and
Mark
Blatchford.
Blatchford.
David Cortez.
Oh, okay.
Mark.
Mark Blatchford, he was young.
Yes,
kid.
Mike
He was like-
won, but then there was a
Oh,
tie for
Mike
the
won
other
an
seat.
independent seat, so he won an open, well, he won the
Yes.
first seat,
It was 2 for 3. So
and
we
then
won
the second
two
seat
tied.
tied,
Correct.
and David won re-election.
Correct.
Okay.
all right, could somebody make a motion then that we approve the transfer for $1,000?
I'll make that motion.
As
I'll
described, so
second
Howard makes
it.
the motion,
Second.
Lynn Mazzulli seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, motion carries. We'll keep the signing going. All right, the next one is $1,900, animal control, etc. Jean, take it away.
This one is just hot off the press. So the town of Uxbridge is our host community for the animal control. It's an inter-municipal agreement. When I talked to him back in April, he gave me an estimate of 17.5. I actually increased the town's budget by going to the special town meeting. We increased it by $1,000 to support it. Just got an email today that, nope, the assessment's gonna be 19 and change. So that's why you have this reserve fund here before you tonight. So they had additional expenses, and we're 31% of that budget. So whatever they charge, we have to pay our share. So I guess the good thing is I received it before this meeting. Bad news is before you tonight.
Any questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the 1,900 request relative to animal control by Howard,
I'll second.
seconded by Sandy Kuipers. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Can I just
Oh,
ask? what
Lynn,
is-
sorry.
It's us, you said a third, so Douglas, Uxbridge,
Mendon.
Mendon, okay.
And next year, they are going to, I'm trying to think if Blackstone's on this year, but Blackstone is also coming on board. And I'd have to get the list, you know what, I'll send you the email, because I may be mixing up veterans with this one. Both veterans and animal control are both municipal agreements,
Okay,
so we pay a percentage.
okay.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, motion carries. So I'll send this around for signing. And Jean, our last transfer is to 3,700.
That is actually for the finance committee. Again, it is unknown as to the number of pages the warrant is going to be when we, do town meetings. The planning board was 12 pages. This does
Oh,
get
this is for
mailed.
the flyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This does get mailed out, which I think is an important thing to all residents of the town, so they're aware of what the warrant articles are going to be prior to town meeting. It is mailed for both the November town meeting and the spring town meeting. But because of the size of the spring town meeting, the cost of the bill was higher.
A little bit higher, isn't it?
Well,
It's a good amount.
it's good amount. That's 12 pages. I mean, it was actually specifically Article 14 was 12 pages long.
Yeah, that was a long one.
Yeah.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to approve that.
Okay, motion by Howard to
Second.
approve, by Lynn, seconded, $3,700 having to do with the flyer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, opposed, abstained, motion carries.
Now, just a little caveat, the postage is also there, so it's first in, first out. Postage has to be paid before we mail it, so even though that was a little bit higher than we anticipated, this happened to be the last bill coming in.
Okay.
So it was,
And it came, and And, okay, no, never mind. Howard, do you have something?
Nope.
Okay. Jean, who signs this top one? Officer, department head?
You,
Yeah,
you're the
right?
chair.
Yeah,
Okay.
how fun is that?
It is.
Mhm.
You're on the hook.
Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, this is just yours, Lynn?
Yep, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right, our next thing is, I think we're gonna do pay the bill first, Gene, then do the intra. So we have a bill we need to pay for 5281 to Alpha Graphics,
And that's the vendor that did the flyer.
the vendor that did the flyer.
Correct.
Now, that's not a transfer, is it? From-
No, so I needed the reserve fund transfer to give you the money so that you could pay the bill.
Okay.
So this vendor has been waiting for a little bit because they've completed their work, but I couldn't, it's illegal to deficit spend any account. So I had to wait till you had
Okay.
to do the transfer.
And do all of us sign this one too?
You're authorized to sign it on behalf of the finance
Okay.
committee.
So we'll save
Take it
everybody a
away.
step,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, we need a motion on that though.
You can make it, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're in session, yeah.
So, we need a motion then, everybody, to approve paying this bill to Alpha Graphics for $52.81.
So moved.
Lynn Mazzulli makes the motion,
Second.
Sandy Kuiper seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, opposed, abstained, motion carries. Okay, and then we have intra-departmental transfers. And all of us need to sign these, correct?
Correct, and just to give so the last 2 months of the fiscal year, the town is allowed, with the majority vote of the Board of Selectmen as well as the Finance Committee, to do these types of transfers. I don't like to do them because I typically like to take care of things at the Springtown meeting. Anything we're aware of, I like to do at the Springtown meeting, and then whatever is left, I usually handle with the reserve fund transfers. Unfortunately, some of these were quite large, and I didn't feel comfortable, should something else arise prior to June 30, I wanna protect the reserve fund and maybe, hopefully not call you back in, but if I had to, I would at least have that tool in my belt. So I chose to handle these particular ones with a transfer, so it's coming from either their own department from salary to expense, or it's coming from another department to transfer to an additional department. The first one, that I have is for
Okay.
ambulance salaries to ambulance expense. So the chief has money in the salary account, but town meeting votes its salaries separate from expense. So he's transferring 9,000 from the ambulance salaries to the ambulance expense account. That's due to, the fuel costs are, higher than expected, and the maintenance and repairs.
So, for all of these, there was the free cash is not touched at all by this?
No,
It's
town
just-
meeting has to approve free
It's just
cash.
from one to the other, okay.
Correct.
This one.
Yeah, let's do this one. So the $9,000 from ambulance
Salaries,
to ambulance
Expense.
expenses
correct.
Yep.
for $9,000.
Yep.
Any questions on that, anybody?
Nope.
So we need a motion to that end then.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, so Carol moves that we approve the request, is that the right wording?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
Request,
second that.
okay, so Carol Goblinski makes a motion, Howard D'Amico seconds, any discussion, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, motion carries, and we all have to sign this one again, Jean? or
Correct,
is
yes.
that- Okay,
In triplicate.
okay, so June 21, the summer solstice.
Mm.
Yes.
Now the days start getting shorter.
Mm.
It hasn't even gotten
But warmer for a
Let's
while,
Let's hope it gets
right?
warmer.
Yeah.
It's been a beautiful spring though.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
it's wonderful. I feel like I missed it.
That's it.
I don't know. It's just 'cause it's going by faster and faster and
Yeah.
faster.
All right, we'll send these around.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next one. I have on my list, and that is $9,000 to be transferred from civil defense to management info systems. Gene, can you
Okay.
explain that one to us?
Yeah, so there's, which is the IT budget for the town. So there's gonna be two, there's one gonna be coming from the civil defense for 9,000, and the second is gonna be coming from community development for 6,000. So the IT department, a management information system, needs a total of 15,000.
Yeah.
There was a couple unforeseen items that came on only because of the timing. So as you are all aware, Ms. Cuniff left the town, there was a vacancy. So we had started the e-permitting project, prior to him leaving. They were able to complete a portion of that, which we were able to charge to the CARES grant. Unfortunately, there was a vacancy in that position, we couldn't continue that until we had a vacancy. I could not put it against the CARES Act because that would not have been appropriate, because we weren't utilizing it prior to December of that year. So I was unable to charge it against that, and we couldn't, I couldn't do anything until we had a new person on board, so Matt Benoit came on board. So there was a $9,000 invoice that came to the town. Because the CARES Act was off the table as far as funding sources, I have to go to the IT budget. So part of that 9,000 is gonna be for the e-permitting portion of the zoning, conservation, and planning. So they're gonna try to get that up and running. In addition to that is the support maintenance of the e-permitting for both the building department and the planning, zoning, and conservation, and that's gonna be a little over $20,000 a year.
Wow.
So, and that is also gonna be on the IT budget. The IT budget is responsible for all of the support here, they're consulting, on a consulting basis. So they are actually on hold until this gets approved, because I had to make sure there was enough funds to pay the bills that I had outstanding. But, it's important because, like I said, they support not only the technology in this building, but senior center, fire department, library, and police, so.
So Gene, when we get going into the details for the budget, starting in December, January, February, and we start getting ready for the next year's budget, will these kinds of things already be wrapped into it then?
Well, the 20,000 should definitely be wrapped into
Okay.
it, because that's an annual expense. The 9,000 is, I'm not thrilled with the vendor right now, so don't ask me too many questions. The 9,000 is mainly for putting it on the computer. Now, that's all they do, they put the e-permitting software on the computer. So we reached out to them, I reached out to them, because my concern is, okay, we got building up and running, you dropped the software on the computer, but you have to, outline the forms, you have to make it accessible, you have to, if you set up a new software, you have to, vet things out, and, that is going to be an additional quote that's on top of what we've already paid them. So you may see that at the fall town meeting, because the vendor, in order for them to help us get that up and running, is going to charge the town additional funds to format the forms and.
Wasn't the whole thing quoted out as a whole project?
Yes, it was, and that was my argument, and because in my world, a portion of that would have been held back. But their quote, as it was explained to me, was they trained the trainer. So, because they were scheduled to happen simultaneously, they would have been all trained at one time. So, building would have gone online at the same time as planning, zoning, and conservation. But because of the vacancy, that didn't happen. So building was up and running, so now they feel like they're duplicating the time because they've already gotten building, and they were supposed to do it at the same time, but now it's gonna be at a different time slot. So
Therefore, the other bill then.
therefore, they feel that it is, yeah, they have to train an additional staff member, it costs them additional time, instead of doing the two simultaneously.
Gotcha.
So.
Seems like a lot, but.
Yeah.
It is a lot. Matt Benoit is working on getting a quote for that piece, because the goal is to get those three functional, so we have e-permitting for those three departments as well as building department. Now, the building department has been very successful. I mean, there's a lot of people that do it at 10 o'clock at night from their home, they don't have to come into town hall. So it has provided a service to the community, but it is very costly.
So building is up, what isn't up exactly?
Planning, zoning, and conservation.
Okay.
So they have their own application forms that they have to format and, like I said, kind of put online for the vendor, for the residents to use, or.
Does anybody in highway know how to do this already, if they already trained and we're doing
Well,
train the trainer?
building.
Oh, in
department,
building,
yeah,
does anybody in
department.
building know how to do
Well,
that?
I think Jackie could be a good resource, but she
Mhm.
still has her full-time job, and it
Right.
took them, I believe they started in September, and they went online close to February, so there's a
Mm.
lot of give and take, you know, to get the forms the way you want. I don't know which one is more labor heavy, whether or not it was more intensive to get building versus these other three. I don't know the number of forms count, cause building has wiring,
Mm.
gas, plumbing, and electric, and building. So I don't know. Jackie will be a good resource, but she also has her
Right,
job to do. But she'll be able to answer questions.
okay.
But, so you may see something else come down the road, because definitely, the community development department cannot pay that bill. They just don't have the funds, they don't have the budget to, you know,
Mhm.
support that. So, we will have to address it either at the fall town meeting, but again, Matt Benoit is working with the vendor right now to see what that's gonna cost. But I did push back, because, you know, like I said, if it was the general ledger, there would be so many hours for the general ledger, so many hours for this, and I would have used my hours, but the other ones would have been protected, but they said that's not how they do things.
Okay, thank you, Jean.
So
So the amount requested is 9,000 to be transferred into management info systems. Any more questions, anybody on that one? So we have a motion to that end?
I'll make a motion to transfer 9,000 from the civil defense
To
to
management info.
systems.
All right, so Sandy makes the motion, seconded
I'll
by
second it.
Howard, thank you, Howard D'Amico. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. I think what strikes me about this is, when we were hearing people comment about the budget as we were making, it seemed like for the new info techie stuff that we're gonna get, one of the concerns was how much the annual cost was gonna be as opposed to the initial startup. Is your sense that it might be more than we
It will-
thought, or
it-
were
well-
told, or?
The annual cost, and again, they do things in a 3-year contract.
Okay,
And I even went so far as to try to push on the service dates of that first annual, and they were not budging at all. Like, they dropped it on September 1st, and that's when the maintenance cost. But I said we didn't go live till March, and, you know, they're just not flexible. They're not my favorite vendor, but I, you know, don't handle the building e-permitting, so from the user standpoint, they're having great success with it, but, it's going to be at least $20,000 a year. That will be probably renewed every 3 years, which I would expect there would be an increase every 3 years.
so as we get ready for our next round of budget discussion, where in that universe will this come up? Will that be an IT?
That will fall under the IT. So
Okay.
the original, the way Matt set it up, again, originally the full cost of it was going to be under the CARES grant, but it was the timing of, you know, the vacancy in that department
Gotcha,
that
yeah.
that 9,000 couldn't get charged there. But the annual 20,000 plus will be on the IT side.
Okay, thank you, Jean. All right, our next item is $6,000 to be transferred from community development to management info systems.
And this is the other piece to that.
This is the
So we
other
needed
part of it.
15,000 and it was 9 and 6.
Why couldn't you do it as 15 at once?
Because these are transfers, I needed to have the funds available to be able to transfer them in.
Gotcha, okay.
Gene, who's the vendor?
SHI, but OpenGov is actually, OpenGov does the work, SHI bills on behalf of OpenGov.
And are we in completing the first year of the 3-year contract?
For the maintenance, yes, we are. Yes,
Right, they
because
started-
I just paid the 20,000, which would be maybe the second year.
And
So-
who's the party that negotiates a renewal of that contract? Is that MAP?
Yes,
Okay, so the theory would be that to the extent they were not particularly accommodating with regard to the town's request to work with us with regard to that additional cost for what appears to be effectively duplicative training, it might be a vendor we want to reconsider as to whether we would renew them or not.
see, that's
a
the
year
tough
from now.
part, because
Why is
they,
that
you
the
know,
tough part?
it's, because it's a software program that we use and you have your formats, you know, your forms set up. So you wouldn't wanna do this conversion again, because that's time and cost, you know.
It's their
disruptive to the
unique software
department.
program?
I'm sorry?
It's their unique software?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's
All right.
proprietary.
Okay.
Yeah, so the way it was explained to me
Yeah,
is,
I got it.
I bought a car. I chose to leave my car at the dealership. It's not their fault. The warranty starts from the day I purchased the car, not the
Yeah.
day I drove the car.
Sure, yep.
So that was their argument. I thought from a customer service basis, knowing that the town did not utilize the second piece of that, they could have given us something on the dates. You know,
Right.
just instead of covering it from September 1, 2021,
Sure.
you could have said, okay, this fiscal year. But there was just no consideration.
Okay.
Because I bought the car and I let it sit there. That was my fault. I
Okay.
did not buy a car, by the way, so,
We understand,
We
yeah.
got
The record is clear.
yeah, the record's
Right,
clear.
right.
Okay. What's
Okay.
the risk of not having a maintenance contract?
Oh, you, when you do this, you have to have a maintenance
You
contract.
have
Oh, yeah, because it's really their software.
The minute you don't, you'll need it.
Oh,
Well, it's not like, it's like the general ledger, you can't use it if you don't have it.
Right.
You don't purchase things anymore.
oh, I see, it's licensing.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
It's not like my Quicken at Home where I bought the CD and I put it on my thing and I choose not to do the
Right.
maintenance, it's not like that.
Right,
Now, if you want
it's-
new Quicken, I don't know if you can get it that way, you can't QuickBooks anymore, you have to, get it,
Because they want the yearly
they
fee.
want the yearly
Right,
fee.
so
this is-
maintenance is really, it's not like support, it's more like that license.
Yes.
It's updating the
Yeah,
software.
got
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve that transfer.
Okay, so that was for $6,000 from community development to management info systems. Howard makes the motion.
second it.
Lynn Mazzulli seconds. Any discussion, anybody? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, motion carries. So, one more round of signing. All right, a couple more to go yet. Next one is 1,592 to be transferred from assessor salary to economic development salary. So Jean, walk us through that one.
Okay, so as you're aware, the principal assessor retired in December. So we have been using a vendor to support those services. So that's why there's available funds in the assessor salary. This is going to the economic development salary. This is for Mr. Benerick, who's been doing the work on the Mass Works grants and the other grants. He was budgeted for 30 hours, and because of the grant applications, he's been working closer to 40. So he needs this money to get him through the end of the year. If not, I told him he shall not be working the last 2 weeks of the fiscal year.
How's the hunt for the assessor coming?
We actually have an appointment, and he'll be starting, it's Chris, Pupka? Am I gonna say that right?
Yeah.
Pupka. And he will be starting July 5th or 8th, I forget which date. So we're very excited to have him on board.
But this money is available to transfer because we haven't had that assessor position for a
Right.
while.
We're
Okay.
not taking money from him because he'll start in FY '23. This
Yeah.
is from the FY '22.
Any questions on that amount, everybody, and what it's for?
I just, how many grants did Bob manage to get us?
The MassWorks grant was a big one. They're still waiting on the federal grant.
Yeah.
So we don't have any notice on that.
So the MassWorks grant was approximately how much?
It was over 3
Million.
yes.
We can give them another 1,500.
What do you think, Carol? Did that work for you?
I think those numbers work out real good.
I'll make a motion to transfer 1,592 from the assessor salary to the economic development salary.
Okay, so motion made by Sandy Kuipers, seconded by Lynn Mazzulli. Well, Carol, I didn't hear you,
I
Carol.
don't know if I can second it, because I'm on economic.
Oh,
all
right. Lynn's got it.
So I
Lynn's
don't know if
got
I
it.
can vote on it, I
Okay,
can vote
Lynn
on it,
seconds.
okay?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. So-
Quick story in terms of Bob, so I live right off of North Street where they're doing the construction, so I'm winding my way through 10 o'clock at night, and who's there supervising? Bob is there supervising and directing, and I don't know what he was doing, but I was sure impressed he was there.
What did they do today?
10,
on
this
Gilboa
is a story from maybe 6 weeks ago when they were
Okay.
first starting,
Street?
but,
Okay, I see they painted more lines on the street there.
you know, they're digging up the whole sewer system on,
Yeah.
it's not North Street.
No, he's definitely putting in
Gilboa.
more than his hours.
So, he's earning his money big time.
Okay, and then our last intra is $5,000 to be transferred from assessor salary to selectman stipend.
Yes.
So Jean, take it away.
This is a protection for me because in Matt's contract, the board may award a stipend to the town, well, it's town administrator, of up to $5,000 to be paid in lump sum in the last pay period of the fiscal year. This was not budgeted, but if they deem him eligible for this, and this is, if his accomplishments relative to the attainment of grants and enlargement of revenue opportunities for the town during the course of the fiscal year. So, if they had his evaluation a couple weeks ago, again, because, you know, you guys are meeting tonight as well as the board, I wanted to make sure that I had the money should they award the $5,000. If it's not awarded, or if it's anything less than that, then the money will go into free cash, but I just wanted it there in case it was awarded.
And this again is from that assessor
It is from the assessor, yes.
who's not here.
Correct.
Right.
And that's in his contract.
That is in his contract.
Who negotiated his contract?
It was between him and the Board of Selectmen, so there's the language.
Are you under contract?
I will be, I'm appointed again, yay,
Do you have a clause like that in your contract?
Never.
me personally,
Yeah.
oh, no.
No.
Howard, you have one in yours, don't you?
No, I'm asking Jean if she has a clause like that somewhere in her contract, or should. Maybe not that number, but
Well, I
it
don't,
sounds like something when the town does well, the people
Yeah, but is the
running the
town
town.
doing well? I mean,
I think that's the point of what the Board of Selectmen might approve, the 5,000, given the structure and what we're talking about for the
for the Mass
grant
Works grant,
for
yeah.
$3 million, yeah. I think that's the argument that's about to be made.
but is our revenue there yet?
Well, that's
Well,
revenue, right?
This was specific to, well, I just gave it the language, you know, to the grant.
To
It was-
grants.
The town was awarded through grants and
I'm
revenue.
being a little tongue-in-cheek, but I just am having thoughts.
But the
people
good news is,
should be
for all of
advocating for
you,
themselves.
is I was
They do a
reappointed so I
nice
can work
job
July
in-
1st.
Oh, great.
That's exciting, right?
Yeah.
How many years
Yeah.
are you signing up for?
Right.
You'd be at a
I
loss
haven't, I don't have a
without
contract
Yeah.
negotiated
Oh,
yet.
Yeah.
You'd like
It's
to
either
see
gonna be
that.
Maybe you
3 or
want,
5.
Howard,
Thank
you
you.
may want to use Howard as your attorney on the contract negotiations.
But I was very happy to reappointed so I can work July 1st.
All right,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
well, we'll take
My
it.
term
We'll
was
take it then,
expiring.
we'll
Your
take
term
it,
was
congratulations.
My term
How
was
long is
expiring.
your term?
10 years.
No, it's 0, they could have chosen not to reappoint me. That
No, they
was
couldn't.
as of June 30.
No, they
No, but how-
Because they wouldn't live
It
without
would
you.
have been, it would have been a mass resignation.
It's 0, 3, or 5, so, you know, that was probably be a 5-year. I just ended a 5-year.
Okay, all right,
So
okay.
they gave you another 5 years?
It's under negotiation, it's still at the board level now, so yeah.
So
So-
the amount is 5,000
This
from
is-
assessors to Board of Selectmen.
Correct, and I'm doing, and I
To cover-
understand, I don't know what, or if he's getting any of it, but I don't want a problem.
Right.
And if it's not, it goes to free
Goes to
cash.
free cash.
It'll close to free cash if it's not used.
I'll make a motion to approve that,
The 5,000
yeah.
from
5,000
assessors
from
to
assessors to
selectmen
selectmen
stipend.
stipend.
I heard Jean say at the beginning of her pitch, this was a gene protection transfer motion, so I'll second that motion.
So Carol
Thank you.
Gogolinsky makes the motion, Howard D'Amico seconds.
I don't like surprises unless
No, I
it's
got it,
chocolate
we
and
got
Diet
it,
Coke.
we got it, yeah.
Any more discussion, anybody? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, motion carries, and this is our last thing to sign tonight. So Jean, we're gonna go through all these minutes.
Yes, I'm
Did
gonna
you
run
wanna be
over.
here for that, or do you wanna go to the selectmen?
I do have to go to the selectmen's meeting to explain those interdepartmental transfers. On my way back, I'm gonna get that answer from Lynn, because
Now,
I've got
if we
pieces
get
to-
finished before you come back to reorganization, should we just wait for you then?
I'll try to be quick.
Or have
Jean,
Pat?
you
We'll
don't have
see
to
you
worry
at our
about-
next meeting though,
Jean.
correct?
Yes.
And not as a guest.
You
That
don't
is
have,
correct.
you don't
Alright.
have to stop to get me that answer, I was just curious.
Oh, no, I know, but it bothers me.
Yeah.
It really does. So I'm going to grab all the interdepartmental transfers.
So Matt is eligible each year for this 5 grand?
That's the language of the contract.
I think we got everything.
I was actually meaning, Jean, but you took the question for yourself and thought, yeah, this is a good term to have in your contract, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
I want one of those in my
Look, there's nothing
contract.
wrong with that though, right?
Jean?
Your company does
We got
well,
one more yet this
Okay.
one.
Right?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be that way.
Right? Companies retain people when they have that,
But you never see it.
with a term in there or not.
Did
right?
they ever have it, if the company does poorly, you get your pay cut?
Yeah, sure. Every company has that as well, don't they?
Except you give
Bye-bye.
them- Give them a golden parachute.
Right?
So the next thing, everybody, is we're gonna go through these minutes in order that are on your agenda. And they're in
The
your-
order on the agenda?
Yeah,
Okay,
and they're in your crimped.
okay.
Which Jean learned tonight that you
I'm
can
not
only
sure
print
what that
4
is.
pages, otherwise it goes into a second set. Just- That was a learning lesson for me.
And because
Pat lesson.
negotiations are finished and it's become public, we don't need to go into executive session to approve executive session,
Okay.
because it's all in the public now.
All right.
so. Okay, Howard, can you give that to Jean, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be back.
Okay, so let's begin with the September 14 last year, so that's almost, not quite a year ago, but 9 months ago. And Sandy, thank you for taking the minutes for executive session.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Did somebody purposely leave a page out that's not crimped?
Well,
Maybe.
start with your agenda one, Howard. And then go to your
Hold on.
second page.
Oh, it's
Oh,
under there.
okay.
Yeah.
See?
So any questions on September 14, 2021 minutes? I think Sandy did a good job of summarizing some details, and there are a lot of details.
Yeah,
I'm hoping I got them all right.
So it should add absent Howard D'Amico.
Weren't there?
Oh, sorry about that.
Yep.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll make notes of the changes, and I'll just tell Jean to update the Word document, because it's all in Word, so. Okay, anybody else see typos or errors of fact as far as you can recall? Again, they're minutes, all right, they're not more than that, they're just our best recollection of what happened.
That's spicy.
Someone wanna make a motion to, accept with, as presented with the one correction? I'm still reading over.
I finished reading them.
You wanna make a motion, Carol?
Yeah, I make a motion to accept them. The September 14th executive session minutes.
With the one correction, which, so noted. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Lynn Mazzulli seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Howard will abstain.
Aye.
Actually, I'm
abstain.
gonna abstain too, because I wasn't there.
So we have 3 yay and 2 abstentions.
I think I missed you on October 12th.
I think I was there on October
I
12th,
think you were.
but I'm a ghost to you.
Yeah,
Right?
becoming a parent.
Right? Well, see, that's okay. You're not the first.
Okay, let's go to October 12th, everybody.
Sounds like Howard was present.
Correct.
So add Howard to that, okay. Okay,
I read everything on my desk today before the.
seem okay, Lynn?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is about the
Highway department.
highway and a little bit of the salary stuff.
I'll second it.
So Lynn, you made a motion to approve
I did.
October 12,
Yes.
Howard D'Amico seconds. Any discussion on October 12, 2021? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. And then our last executive session, March 8.
I remembered Howard.
New year.
Yeah.
This was a shorter part, wasn't it?
I will make a motion to approve the March 8th, 2022 executive session minutes.
Okay, motion made by Howard D'Amico, seconded by
I'll second it.
Carol Bogolinski. Discussion, anybody? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Lynn Mazzulli abstains, okay. So we have 4 yea and 1 abstention. Lynn.
Yeah, that was the day of my mother's wedding.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we have March 8 open session. I think I made a typo on number 5. I think it's Ken Frazier, isn't it?
Aye.
Oh,
Mhm.
sure, yeah.
So I'm gonna fix that. Hi, Jean.
Oh,
Are you coming back already?
They're talking about another subject. I didn't know if you wanted to quickly reorg or if you wanna continue.
Sure, we can do that now.
Okay, great.
Jean is gonna take the chair for reorganization.
I am.
I can't.
Oh, no, I can't, yes. I'm accepting nominations for the chairman for next fiscal year.
I nominate Dick Van,
I nominate Sandy Kuipers.
I nominate Dick Vandenberg.
Okay, well, then I will withdraw my nomination. You sure?
Thank you though, yes.
Well, I think it's been nice to rotate it if we can.
Mm-hmm,
You seem, other than Carol,
right,
we can nominate you
I ain't
anytime you like.
nominating me. I'm going to the old age home.
yeah.
You sure?
I am still building a house, so I'm,
Yeah.
in a lot of chaos still.
Lynn's
so.
turn's coming soon.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. You know,
No.
next year might be a new chapter, but this year's still
No,
massive
my
chaos.
turn will probably never come before my term is over.
Mhm.
So I said,
So
we have,
I-
you seconded it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well-
so
Jean
nomination
has done a
for Dick
fabulous
for chair is seconded by Sandy,
Yes.
all in
Mhm.
favor?
Aye.
Oh, and first, any other future,
Oh.
any other nominations?
No, I withdraw my nomination.
You withdraw, okay, all
Thank
in
you.
favor?
Sure.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah. Dick, you now have the meeting again, so you
Okay.
don't have to do
Yeah.
vice.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Yeah.
Peace and prosperity.
Yes,
Right?
right.
Well, you do have the pleasure of working with me.
Mhm. Yes, yes,
More
that
as
is-
chair.
Yes.
Right, that's right.
Dick has done a great job.
Mhm.
Sandy, you up for being vice chair again?
Sure.
Can
Yes.
somebody move that then?
I move
So
that.
Carol moves,
Yeah.
Sandy Kuipers be vice chair.
Second it.
Lynn seconds.
Mhm.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
It's an important role.
Abstained?
Yes.
If the president can no longer serve, for,
Right.
you know, whatever reasons.
Right, and that's the
then-
speaker, right?
Right, then
Yes.
it's That's right, that's right. You'll
Um,
have to certify the votes.
Yes.
Right.
So Ryan, how you doing in the audience there? You doing okay?
Great.
Bringing back old memories.
That's right, that's right.
and Lynn, it was Mendon, that was the third
It is,
community.
okay, you checked that so fast.
I do, yeah, so Oxbridge, Douglas and Mendon.
Okay. Thank you, Jean.
Okay, let's get back to our regular minutes, March 8th. That was regular session, other than Ken Frazier, the typo.
I move to approve the March 8th regular session minutes.
Second.
Okay, so Howard D'Amico moves to approve with the right spelling correction.
Correct.
Sandy, did you second it?
I did.
Okay, Sandy Kuiper second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Lynn, were you absent?
That's the same day. Yeah.
Oh, right,
Right.
it was, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I crossed off all the times I was not there.
Okay.
One thing.
All right, let's go to your new crimped, March 22.
Okay,
I think, was everybody there?
except for
I
Carol.
was not there.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, I was like, wow, look at the time, the length of discussion, you know.
Wow.
Who's writing, you doing these minutes?
I did a couple, but then Stephanie Goslin, who's our usual minute,
Oh, okay.
she had, something came up that she wasn't able to do some of the March ones, so I did, but,
I move to accept the March 22, 2022 Finance Committee minutes.
as presented.
As presented.
Okay, so Sandy Kuipers makes the motion,
I second it.
seconded by Lynn Mazzulli. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
I will abstain.
Carol
I was not
abstains, okay. Is it Mazzulli like a Z?
Yeah.
How to say your name?
Yeah,
Not Massuli, no.
well, the proper way would be Masuli, but.
With the S or with the Z?
With the
Is
S,
that what you prefer?
no,
Mm.
that's what everybody here says,
Oh,
it's Mazzuli.
When you go to Italy, what do they say?
They say that's not an Italian name, actually.
Oh, really? No kidding.
But, yeah,
Oh, okay.
but they say Musuli.
At least they don't say Mussolini.
Yeah, no.
Mussolini.
All right, let's go to March 29. I think Sandy, you were absent. Is
I
that when you
was.
were in Montana?
Montana, yes.
Yeah.
Before the floods.
Mm-hmm.
This was when we had both of Mike Fitzpatrick's, right?
That's right.
That's right. I move to approve the March 29th, 2022 minutes.
So moved by Howard D'Amico, seconded by Carol Bogolinski. Thank you, Carol. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain, Sandy abstains. For March 29, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, April 4.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a business-like meeting, wasn't it? We
Mhm.
just,
move to accept the meeting minutes from, as written, on Monday, April 4th, 2022.
Okay, so motion to accept April 4 made by Sandy Kuipers, seconded by
This will be you, Carol.
Oh, I'll second it.
Carol Golinski.
Discussion.
Discussion. You have a discussion, Howard? You weren't at April 4, it looks like.
Oh, well, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
his name
it
is
says
Jack.
joined at 6:34.
Oh.
That makes more sense.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, yep. Absent Howard D'Amico, so let's get rid of that one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And run with the
because you came.
joined at.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Carol.
Okay, so all in favor with that little correction, say aye.
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 Aye, opposed, abstain,
Abstain.
Lynn abstains, okay.
It's either you're a ghost or you're both absent
Right,
and present.
Right.
Uh,
See,
mhm.
trick.
So April 12, I actually checked with Jean and said, I have no idea,
Mm,
all of these numbers are correct to the penny.
Right.
Got it.
So, I think we just trust that Stephanie did the best she could to get the numbers right. Ultimately, it's a town meeting that approved the numbers correct, so.
Right. Oof.
If you look at the very last one, Sandy, on page 5, you are now Sand Kuipers.
Woo-hoo.
See,
That wouldn't be the first time.
those minutes,
Ah,
they change a lot of
yeah,
things,
we're gonna
right?
change that.
Mhm.
So any discussion on these, all these figures, everybody? I kind of compared it to the warrant and it looked like it lined up to me, but I didn't go over every dollar amount.
Right.
That Jean did. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from
April 12th,
April 12th.
I'll second.
with the one spelling correction.
Yes, Sand.
Okay. So Len Mazzulli makes the motion, Sandy
Yeah, okay.
Kuiper seconds.
Sand
Any
Kuipers,
discussion?
yeah.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstain?
I will abstain.
Okay. And then our last one, right,
Mhm.
was the little meeting we had right after, before and after the town meeting on May 2 in the school. We basically went over, a couple of things relative to the town meeting, and then we met after, and we had no actions that were votable, so we adjourned.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from Monday, May 2, 2022 as written.
Okay, motion made by Sandy Kuipers, seconded by
Second it.
Lynn Mazzulli.
Mazzulli.
Okay. Discussion, anybody? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained,
I will abstain.
Howard abstains. That's right, you weren't feeling so great, were you?
Mm.
That was the, let's just make sure.
Yeah.
Why bring something if you still
Right.
have a little?
We
Mhm.
appreciated that too.
Yeah, right? I thought that was a smart way to do that.
Absolutely.
Have
I think I talked to you and asked you if you needed a quorum, and you said you thought you were all set, right?
Yep.
And I thought you guys could have.
Mm. And we did.
And now we have our
Right.
ninth guy, we'll always
That's
have a
right,
quorum.
that's right.
Mhm, mhm.
So 5 come and the other 4 will do a picnic?
And then we'll alternate.
We'll rotate, right,
Yep.
exactly.
Well, thank you, everybody, for wading through all those minutes. So if you look at our agenda, we won't meet again in the summer unless something comes up,
Okay.
and I'll let you know. And September 13, we're gonna have a meeting just to kind of see who's on first and what's on second.
We
And
could
then-
do September 20th for that.
I think we want to stick it to 2 and 4, right?
Yep.
The second and the
Okay.
fourth.
Talk to my wife, I'm gonna miss those each year.
Okay.
Where are you going?
It's my anniversary.
Oh,
Oh.
September
Alright.
13th?
Well, the 14th, but,
Oh.
Howard, we
So
will
we
carry
go
on in
away.
your
We
absence.
Go away.
How many years?
How many, never mind.
Ah, you don't know.
20, coming up on 26, Carol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how's that, right?
Wow, that's great.
So,
Scare.
And then, we won't meet the fourth Tuesday of September, but then we'll meet the second one in
so
October.
September 13th is what day of the week?
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
It's a Tuesday.
the second and fourth Tuesdays.
Orion's in, that's one of us.
Okay.
I'll
We'll
be
make
here,
it,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
with 9, we should be able to make it.
I might not be here either.
You'll let me know though.
I will let you know.
Okay. Anybody have anything else for us?
Could I?
Yeah, Ryan, go
Have you
ahead.
guys met with the pension board in the last couple of years? We did that maybe my last go around, the Worcester County Pension Board.
Well, I know Matt has in his capacity for whatever, but we as a finance committee, I don't think have.
No, yeah.
I don't think so.
Maybe we could ask them to come in on one of those meetings and make a presentation
In the fall meeting?
and, yes. Just to,
Is that,
some of their management maybe has not been as crisp and stellar as we might have wanted, and maybe hold their feet to the fire a little bit. I think that would be good.
I think that'd be a great idea.
what's the name of the organization, Ryan?
Gina, no, it's the Worcester County Retirement Board, I wanna say, but I may not have the,
Why don't you talk about it on the 13th, September 13th, with Jean here
Yeah.
and Ryan on full board, and then see if it's somebody you wanna bring in for as early as
We can put that on
October,
the agenda.
October 11 or maybe December.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Ryan. So another thing, everybody, is as to summer progresses, if you think of something that you really think we need to talk about, just let me know and I'll get it on the agenda.
Sure.
Okay.
So that's one way to
Okay.
communicate stuff.
And so if we have something, we send it to the group, like if we email the whole
Sure.
group? Okay.
But I'll make it, when I make the agenda, I'll try
Okay.
to include whatever your concerns are,
Okay.
so.
Something that I'm kind of interested in, I don't know if the finance committee could ask for information on that. I wanna know what they're putting in for maintenance on all of our assets. Like we've got the schools, you know, what are they putting in for maintenance? The highway department, you know, how are they maintaining the trucks? The fire department, what are they doing for maintenance to maintain these things? You know, to make sure that they're getting their oil changed when they're supposed to and stuff like that. And like the schools, you know, what are they doing to maintain those buildings? I think what really made me think about that was Northbridge just knocked down the Bomber School and put up a
Right.
new school.
Right.
Well, someone I know told me the Bomber School was built at the same time as White Road Christian. And that school is in great condition. So why?
It
Because
wasn't
they
built
took
on a
care of
swamp.
it.
It wasn't built on a swamp either.
Well, they built the second one on the top of it, so it's right in the same place.
It fell into the swamp.
I think it was more than that. They don't maintain, they put them up, but they don't maintain them.
So maybe that could be part of our
Yeah,
discussion when we get into
We get
the school
into it.
budget, is the
Yeah.
details of that maintenance.
right, and tell them we wanna know. So
Sure.
let them know
Yeah.
ahead of time so they get that information.
Yeah,
Same
okay.
thing with the other departments, the
Sure.
water department and places like that.
So that's,
Fire
that's the
department.
kind of thing,
Mhm.
Carol, you could email me and say, I'd like to have this on the
Right.
agenda at some point.
Right.
So we can not let that stuff slip through the cracks. Anybody else have anything? We have a motion to adjourn?
I'll take that.
I'm on all those notes with me being the one making the motion to adjourn.
No,
Sandy
it's-
moves, we adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Seconded by Lynn Mazzulli. Thank you, Lynn. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming.